Lary Howarter is here along with Peggy. We're going to talk with Larry about the IH whistle and your years of employment at IH. You were close to the whistle, and you said they blew it New Year's Eve, but a little differently one time.
One time they blew a little bit different. They're supposed to blow for about a minute, and the guy was blowing it. He blew it for about a minute. Then he went toot toot toot. He went real quick, and it sounded different. That was the only year that they blew it that way.
Did you know a lot of the men that blew the whistle?
I knew a couple of them. They had a crew that was responsible for blowing the whistle at different times. One guy pretty well took care of the whole ship. It was time to blow it. He was there to blow it.
How did they know when to blow the whistle?
They had a clock there, and it was set to run at, let's say, for instance, 6 o'clock in the morning. It was 6 o'clock. It blew. Then 6:52. That'd be in about 10 minutes, 8 minutes till 6. They blew it again. That was the 8-minute whistle. That'd be 8 minutes till 7 or whatever. Then 7 o'clock it was blowing. Noon, it was blowing for noon. Everybody took their dinner. Some guys had a half an hour lunch, some of them had 15 minutes. When it blew at noon, the guys had 12:22 or so to get back. That'd be 8 minutes to get back to the department from lunch. And then at 12:30 it blew, and that was time to go back to work.
Where'd they get their lunch?
Some of them bought their lunch and they had it right there in the plant. And some of them went out the side gate over to the taverns. They had dinner set up in there for them. They'd go in there and eat their dinner. In fact, I did it a few times. And I had actually about 20 minutes to get back into the plant. And the 12:30 whistle was blowing. That meant you were back to work. And then at 3:30 it blew, and that was the end of the shift.
It was a mad dash back from lunch a couple of times, was it?
A few times. That 8-minute whistle blew. You had a little bit to get to it, but you only had about really a block and a half, 2 blocks to go. And the guys that ate lunch in it, they had an area upstairs in the picnic basket, or some of them went out on the dock, and it was only about 5 minutes from that area.
What happened if you didn't make it back?
Well, they didn't say too much.
Wanted to know where you'd been, huh?
Well, sometimes they would, but most of the guys went right back to the machine they was on, and they took off at 12:30 or whatever.
What did blowing the IH whistle back then mean to the community and mean to all those workers at the plant?
Well, a lot of them lived by it. You know, you hear it set the clock whistle, you knew you only had an hour, you knew it was time to go to work. My dad worked at Harvester. He lived outside of town about 11 miles from Canton. And he would hear it set the clock whistle. And then he'd always left the house there about 6:15 or 6:30. He'd be sitting at the gate waiting on them to open the side gate. They'd open all the gates up half an hour before the start of the shift, let the guys in. And at 6 o'clock, of course, 7 o'clock, he was ready to go to work. And a lot of guys would set up that way.
So you could hear the whistle from points beyond Canton pretty easily.
Yeah, you can hear it too down in Liston, really, if the wind is the right direction. A lot of guys heard it in Farmington. Dad lived 11 miles, and I can remember hearing it because he'd get up at 5 o'clock, and when I was home, and we'd go do the chores and stuff, and 6 o'clock was the blow, and he said, come on, we got half an hour to get to Canton. It's time to go to work. We'd jump in the car, and away we'd come.
Peggy, what about the IH whistle here, and how do you look at it in these past years?
Well, I grew up with the whistle, and we lived in the shadow of the whistle, you know what I mean, and we lived real close to it, and Mom always told us kids come home when the whistle blows, and that's what we told our kids. When you hear the whistle, get home, you know. And it just meant a lot to the people of Canton. Everybody depended on it. They set their watches by it, their clocks by it, and just, you know, everybody was just kind of dependent, and it was really sad when it just quit blowing, you know. It's a sad day. I'm glad I lived through that era, though, and I hope they can bring it back, because it would be great.
Okay, Larry and Peggy, thanks for sharing your thoughts with us today about the IH whistle.
Thank you.